in here and around the world, Jonathan.
Christian Amanpour, thanks very much. Relita?
Now, for more in the mood in Paris, we're joined by Jim Bitterman. Jim.
Yes, Relita, good morning. The news here has been dominated, of course, by the attack this morning. One of France's leading commentators said that we are entering a new world here this morning, a world which will be dominated between the conflict, will be dominated by the conflict between radical Islam and the West. And he said that September 11th will mark a pivotal date between the before and after that conflict. Afterwards, of course, there was swift reaction on the streets here in Paris.
Within hours of the attack in New York, the American embassy in Paris was closed and evacuated. The employees told to go home. It remains closed this morning, and there's no sign of when it might open again. At American institutions around town, there is much tighter security this morning. Most remain open. But American flags have been withdrawn from outside the buildings in case anyone should want to try another attack. At the American Cathedral, a service is scheduled for later on today.
Sont une épouvantable tragédie.
President Jacques Chirac went on television last night to call the American attacks a terrible tragedy. And he ordered a top security alert, which will mobilize thousands of French troops and put them on the streets of Paris. But so far this morning, there is little sign of any military activity, and it's not clear that there has been any specific threat to the country. Nonetheless, French on the street this morning were nervous about what happened in New York and feeling very vulnerable even here.
Oh, we don't feel in security nowhere now.
You don't feel secure anywhere?
Nobody is safe in his own country, and this is awful, I think.
There's a special meeting of France's anti-terrorism committee going on right now. Once again, the Interior Minister has emphasized that there is no specific threat against France. One leading newspaper here, as many have, compared the attack in New York to Pearl Harbor, but it took it one step further, saying that, like the attack on Pearl Harbor, perhaps the attack on New York will bring the United States out of its isolationism. Relita?
Jim, what kind of offers for help to the U.S. are being contemplated?
The French have offered to do anything they can to help in this situation. I think they have sent some special teams to help look for victims in the rubble. But basically, there's not a whole lot they can do from here. They have canceled, by the way, I should have probably mentioned, they've canceled all further Air France flights today to the United States, just as a precautionary measure. So we're seeing that kind of global shutdown of the airlines that we saw yesterday afternoon. It looks like it's going to take place at least through part of the day today. Relita?
Jim, thank you. John?
Beyond France, the European Union as a whole is trying to make its voice and concern known. Diana Muriel joins us now with the latest from a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels. Diana?
That's right, John. In fact, there's a series of emergency meetings taking place here in Brussels. Right now, the European Commission is holding an emergency session. We'll be hearing more from them in a press conference in approximately an hour and a quarter, where Romano Prodi, the head of the European Commission, is likely to make some remarks, as well as Chris Patton, who's the Commissioner for External Relations. As you said, the European Union foreign ministers will also be holding a meeting this afternoon here in Brussels, and we'll be hearing more from them later. And NATO, which has cancelled a meeting in Budapest, the chiefs of NATO returning to Brussels, they'll be holding their own meeting later and again a press conference. In fact, the Permanent Security Council of NATO is currently in its second meeting of the day in coordination with the US authorities coordinating security measures here in Europe. At the same time, the response here in Brussels is one of absolute shock. In fact, the Belgian authorities have provided a team of 5 medical officers who are specialists in burns from the burns unit of the major hospital here in Brussels. We understand that they will be sent to America in response to American requests for assistance, as well as 5 police officers from the federal police here who are specialists in identifying corpses. The airport in Brussels is at a state of high security. There is a lot of disruption to flights around the region. Of course, there are no flights to the US, to Canada, or indeed to Israel today. But the security measures will continue until further notice. We understand that no flights will be going to the US until approximately midday Washington time. But of course, that has to be confirmed. Back to you, John.
Diana Muriel, thanks very much.
And it has been an unbelievable and tragic 21 hours here in the United States today. Here are now some of the most enduring images that were caught on camera.
This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
The plane was coming in. I noticed it a second before it hit the building. It looked like it was moving slowly, and it lined itself up to hit the building directly.
The doorman goes to me, wow, I never seen a plane flying so low. And we looked out at it, all of a sudden, boom, it seemed like it wasn't even real.
I'd say the whole takes about, looks like 6, 7 floors were taken out. And there's more explosions right now. Hold on, people are running.
Listen, hold on just a moment. We got an explosion inside.
The building's exploding right now. You got people running up the street.
Okay.
I'll tell you what's going on.
It just went ba-boom. It was like a bomb went off. And it was like holy hell coming down them stairs. And then when we finally got to the bottom, they were coming out on a mezzanine level there, and another explosion came right from it, just everything flying right in front of me. Everything just went boom.
There's a huge crowd, I'd say about hundreds of people on the streets that come from south to north. I've been really thousands of people that have been running from inside these buildings. You know, it's a very heavily trafficked area in downtown, the World Trade Center. Many of them were inside the building when they felt the explosion. And they say there was just pandemonium. There was no warning, no alarms, no anything. Everyone just raced from their desks.
There's people jumping out of windows. I've seen at least 14 people jumping out of windows. It's horrific. I can't believe this is happening.
They started slowly evacuating the White House about 30 minutes ago, and then in the last 5 minutes, people have come running out of the White House and the old executive office building.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country. I have spoken to the Vice President, to the Governor of New York, to the Director of the FBI, and have ordered that the full resources of the federal government go to help the victims and their families, and to conduct a full-scale investigation to hunt down and to find those folks who committed this act. Terrorism against our nation will not stand. And now, if you join me in a moment of silence. May God bless the victims, their families, and America. Thank you very much.
Well, arriving at the Pentagon a short time ago, there was a huge plume of smoke which continues to rise from the west side of the Pentagon. The plume of smoke is enormous. It's a couple of 100 yards across. At its base, it is billowing into the sky.
There is a lot of confusion here at the Pentagon. It appears that something hit the Pentagon on the outside of the 5th corridor, on the Army corridor. Several Army officers I talked to reported hearing a big explosion, seeing shards of metal coming past their window. The Pentagon has been evacuated. Emergency services personnel were rushing to reports of several people trapped in the building. Most of the building's 24,000 people are outside of the building or in the center courtyard.
The White House is reporting that the Capitol building has been evacuated and the Treasury Department has been evacuated. Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, is exceptionally tense and clearly taking steps as if it is virtually under siege here.
There has just been a huge explosion. We can see a billowing smoke rising, and I'll tell you that I can't see that second tower, but there was a cascade of sparks and fire, and now it looks almost like a mushroom cloud explosion, this huge billowing smoke in the second tower.
I live. I hope I live. It's coming down on me. Here it comes. I'm getting behind a car. It's incredible. Okay, I'm gonna have to go find people who need help. Because I don't think I'm one of them. You okay, sir? Okay. Can I just get a toot off your respirator? Can I get a toot? I'm just in a couple of clean breaths. That's good. Okay. Back to you. This is the car I hid behind. It saved my life. Wait, maybe it was this one. There's all these noises. I don't know what it is. They say someone needs help.
Yeah, Mike! Mike! Mike, come over here! Yeah!
Anybody need a doctor?
Where are you?
Oxygen. Don't have oxygen. Hello, Doc. Hey, that guy needs some oxygen. If someone can share it with him. 10-4. Thanks. They told me just to wait here at this semi-staging area. See if I can help, so that's what I'm doing. They won't let me go any closer. No one can go in to get the people out. There's small explosions still going on. So far, I just seen some people who needed oxygen from the dust. No one trauma. Gonna go wash my eyes out. Did we just heard another explosion? They're handing out gloves and masks. The consensus is it's too unsafe to go in there. What are we doing? You know what? Anything? Why don't we just set this up as a little mobile hospital unit right here, okay? Okay.
4-9 battalion against all units that are available. We're having a new command post on Murray Street and West Street. Any units available, respond when you're all up here.
We have a report now that a large plane crashed this morning north of the Somerset County Airport, which is in western Pennsylvania, not too terribly far from Pittsburgh, about 80 miles or so.